Welcome everyone. Welcome to tonight's presentation, Volunteers and the Vulnerable. My name is Jessica Velasquez and I will be your host. I am delighted to have here 4 special guests, and I also want to welcome those of you who are in the room and watching online. Tonight's presentation is hosted by the Tuscany and Valley Ridge Ward of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And like I said, I have 4 special guests. We have the Calgary Welcome Center for New Canadians, the Calgary Food Bank, Just Serve, and the Center for Newcomers. And you'll be hearing from each one of them one by one. We hope that from listening to them tonight, you'll find meaningful service opportunities that are tailored to you, your family, and your talents. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Brian and Sandy Henninger from the, like I said, the Calgary Welcome Center for New Canadians.
Hi, I'm really glad to be here today and to share with you some of the work that we've been doing with people who are new to our country and have come to find freedom or a new life. And we're so excited to be able to help them. We were called
Spencer Davis
to this calling in 2021, January 2021. And it took us a while to get started and to get organized, but we're up and running now, and we're happy to be serving there. And all of our staff are volunteers. And so if you're ever interested in a volunteer opportunity, then you can come and help with the people that come to visit us and need help in many ways. We really try hard not to compete with any of the other immigration services. We want to be part of their team as well, and we send people to them if we are not able to offer services that would help them, the things that they might need that we cannot offer. Our purpose here is to be a safe place, and that we are people that they can trust, and we'll watch over them and help them through the challenges that they're facing. You can imagine how difficult it would be to be in a new country, and especially not to speak the language or understand the culture. So we try to help them with those. I'll turn the time over to my husband, and he will tell you about some of the classes that we offer. We offer them online or in person.
The reason my wife has such empathy for new immigrants is because she is one.
I'm from California.
She was born in Long Beach, California a number of years ago, met me in school, and has come to Canada because I didn't want to stay in the U.S. And so we know what it's like to come to a new place and how difficult it is to get stimulated. And our purpose at the Welcome Center is to make sure that if our clients need instruction or understanding how life's going to be in Canada and the acclimatation they're going to need for dealing all those things that come up, they're new. Where do I get a bus pass? Where do I live? Where do I work? Where do I buy food? Where do my kids go to school? How do I get a health care card? All these things they need to find, and we want to make sure that it works well for them. But most of all, they need a friend. And so at the Welcome Center, we want to be a friend. So when they come in, they know they have someone that will give them good information, and if we don't know, we'll find out, and what we do give them is information they can have confidence in that it's correct. We also want them to gain from free instruction that we have through the church on self-reliance, improving their English skills. Ann Turner here in the West Stake runs ESL classes, and our clients can join those classes free of charge. It's free-esl.ca. We're going to put the website up. And if you can't, actually our own website is welcome2yyc.ca, and you can get all those links from our website. The free courses that we teach are understanding personal finances for self-reliance. We're quite surprised that a number of people come and they don't know exactly how it works, and they've never had the opportunity or training in their life to manage their money. The most important thing that comes is, of course, learning how to find a better job. We can teach them how to find a better job. Can't give them a job, but we can teach them the principles they need to find better work. And we've had many successes on our Zoom meetings with clients in the past. And we also want them to understand there's reasons they may want to consider upgrading their education to get a better job. And some who are very self-reliant already might want information on our course on investigating how to start my own business or grow my own business if I have one. And of course, in these COVID times, the value of of emotional resilience is pretty important as well. In any event, we have a little brochure that I think we're going to put up on the screen that tells you a little about who we are, what we do, and what our purpose is. And if there's any questions, you can ask. And nice to be here. Thanks, Jessica.
Don't go. I may have some questions. I really like the word you use, friend. I really like that because I think when we come into a new country, that's what we need the most. And there's so many things that can be covered, like, you know, social insurance and health card, but ultimately we all need a friend. So thank you for saying that. I do have a couple of questions. You talked about the classes and the courses, but are there opportunities for families to serve within your organization?
Absolutely. We invite anybody to contact us at our website if you want to volunteer. There's all kinds of things that can do. You don't have to necessarily be at the Welcome Center. You can be a mentor from home, to be a friend, to call somebody who's taking ESL classes and just talk to them for 20 minutes twice a week so they get an idea of what's going on and how it's working and learn some stuff.
How to practice their English.
Yes.
So for anybody watching or those that are here present, if they wanted to volunteer, that's a perfect opportunity. They can just online help them practice their English, help them communicate better by just practicing. Sometimes that's what helps us the most.
Whatever they want to volunteer to do, we can accommodate.
Very good. And what if this particular family has small children or teenagers? Is there a way for them to help as well?
Absolutely, especially if we have teenagers who want to volunteer to be friends to teenagers who need that help.
Very good. Now, from your numbers, the different families that you're helping, what are some statistics that you can share with us? Are they mostly from a specific region? Are there mostly families, young children? What can you share with us?
Well, what was really interesting, during the COVID time, all of our meetings were on Zoom. And we actually had clients joining in from Colombia, from Mexico, all over the world. India, Morocco.
Really?
Yes.
It was really exciting to work with them and help them prepare to come to Canada.
So were these families that were wanting to come to Canada?
Yes.
Wow, what a way to get started on the right foot. Awesome. Do we have more questions from the panel? Because I have another one. So on your opinion, based on your experience, what are some of the greatest challenges that families are facing once they move to Calgary, they're here? What are some of those challenges?
I think learning English is probably the biggest one, but also finding a job and also finding housing that they can afford. Yes.
Is there a place that, if we have a family watching that is in need of housing, where do you recommend they go to? What are some of the avenues they have?
Well, they reach out to us, or we've worked very closely with St. Volodymyr's Ukrainian Orthodox Church, and they are very, very knowledgeable on people coming from Ukraine, and they have places where they can actually go.
And there are other centers in Calgary, and you'll probably hear from some tonight who offer further services than we offer. And so we are anxious to know all about them so that we can send our clients to them.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. And I am going to then introduce. So now, next we have Lynn Tipper from the Calgary Food Bank. Thank you, Lynn.
Hi, and thank you for having me. I've been at the food bank for over 10 years, and I'm a community engagement coordinator. And I have a PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to go through to give you some more information about the Calgary Food Bank. So we provide emergency food hampers for people who are in need of food. that is that is our biggest role at the food bank. And you might be surprised by why people need the food bank. It's not just that they are unemployed, they could be working paycheck to paycheck, there could be mental illness in the family, there could have been a death in the family, there could be like a top priority, your car is in need of repair or you need childcare. So there's many, many different reasons for people to come to the food bank. Our vision is a hunger-free community, and we dream of that, hopefully sometime in the future, that is a possible goal. Our mission is together we fight hunger and its root causes because no one should go hungry. You can go again. Again, we provide emergency food hampers to people, including families that are hungry. Another word we use is called food insecurity. It just means they're not able to provide enough food for them or their families. As I just said, we could probably pass this slide because it's not just people who are unemployed. There are people who, you know, especially now with the rising cost of food and utilities and everything, our demand is quite huge. Last September we were up 30% from the year before, so the demand is definitely great. Again, we can probably pass this one. This is just a chart of who comes to the food bank, and a quarter of our clients are children, so, and that's a huge number. You can go ahead. So we had a research student not that long ago who took the postal codes of everybody who were clients who were coming to the food bank, and it is in absolutely every quadrant, every community in the city. So there's not one area that is harder hit than others. It is definitely, it could be your neighbor, it could be you next week, it could be anybody. So we have several programs. Our biggest one is the emergency food hampers. We have a program called Weekends and More, and that's for children in schools who suffer from food insecurity. We are able to give them anonymously a hamper that they can take home on the weekend, and that they can feed themselves. They're all things that they can make themselves. They have pop tops, things that they can put into the microwave as well. We do hampers for the homeless, welcome home hampers for new individuals in the community. Food Link is an area of our food bank where we serve agencies throughout the city. So like the Drop-In Center, the Mustard Seed, the Dream Center, all of them, they come to us for food to feed their clients, and that frees them funds for their own programming. So it's a great way for us to just not serve our clients, but we're helping all the other agencies in the city as well. And food movement is, the Calgary Food Bank is a hub for other food banks in southern Alberta. So we share food with other food banks, which is a great thing. If we have a surplus of baby food, like we just got a whole bunch of baby food in that we are shipping. Food Banks Alberta took a whole bunch, so we're able to share the food with other people and communities who need. We can go. Last year we gave out 88,177 hampers and 15,444 specialty hampers. And those are the extra programs that I was telling you about. We do have a wish list. It's our most needed items. You can also access this list online if you were wanting to do a food drive or anything like that. I just spoke a little bit about the Weekends and More program, so we can move ahead with that. And the hampers for the homeless program. What we put in there, they're all pop tops and everything easy for them to be able to, get food into them right away. So the Welcome Home program, moving into a home after not having a place to live. And Food Link, I just spoke about that as well. How you can help with the food bank. You can donate money, you can donate food, or you can donate your time. We wouldn't be able to run without volunteers at the food bank. So anybody who's interested in volunteering, you can go to our website and there's a volunteer drop-down button and you can go from there. We love our volunteers. So every dollar we get, we can stretch into $5. So food is great, money is great, and your time is great as well. And we wouldn't be able to function without volunteers. We can go ahead. We can go ahead. Go ahead. Thank you. I'm here to take any questions. There's a lot to go through.
Thank you, Lynn. So I have a question from 2 points of view.
Okay.
One, the volunteer, and the other one is from the family in need.
Okay.
So let's do that one first.
Okay.
For a family in need, how do they access this help?
You can go to our website, and there is an online form that you can fill out that will, a volunteer will contact you to book they ask you a series of questions, and they will get all your information, and they will book you a distribution time for you to come and pick up your hamper.
Are there any requisites, like you have to be, I don't know, like under this income or, you know, any financials that they need to disclose?
Well, there are financials that we definitely have to ask, but people don't get turned away.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
very good. I'm glad that you reminded us that it's not only for people who are homeless
Mm-hmm.
or unemployed. I mean, anybody can go through different circumstances in their lives that will, you know, drive them to need help from, like, the food bank.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the church has a long-standing commitment with the
Yes.
food bank.
Yes.
We moved here to Calgary about 11 years ago, and our very first activity as a family was helping within our congregation in the food drive. So that's a great project.
It's an amazing project.
A couple of other questions. Are there some times throughout the year when more is needed?
Well, through our summer months, we don't have a whole lot of food drives. September, in the fall, we have the LDS citywide food drive, and Christmas are huge, and that carries us over into the first quarter. So it's like at the end of the first quarter to, you know, the middle of the year is our slower time for donations.
For donations?
Yes.
And how about the needs? Like, do people...
The need is, hunger does not take a break, no.
So are there some top 3 items that you would say these are definitely the ones that we have the most request of?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. We have our wish list, but the most needed item is always canned tomatoes.
Okay.
Peanut butter and pasta are probably 3 of our greatest.
Okay. If there's a family with children, either teenagers or small children, is there a way for them to help? Like physically go to the center and participate, not just drop food off?
Oh, absolutely. Our volunteers are our greatest asset. To volunteer in the warehouse, you have to be 12. So 12 to 15, you can volunteer, but you have to have an adult with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then 16 and up.
Without adults?
Without adults, yeah.
Is this a one-time commitment, or do they sign up for, I don't know, 3 months at a time?
You can do whatever you want. You can do once a week, once a month, once every 3 months, whatever you like. So
how does one access or those opportunities? Do we just contact you as well? Or?
Yeah, on our website there's a volunteer tab that you have to drop down. It'll give you all the information that you need.
Very good. Well, thank you, Lynn.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
We have one more question, Lynn. I'm just
okay.
gonna get my phone here. Okay, question. If I suspect someone at my high school is experiencing food insecurity, what should I say or do?
I would go to one of the counselors. I would talk to them, and then or the principal, the administration, and they would be able to know which counselor is for that child, and then they can talk to that child.
Always through the website first? Or is it a number? that you would suggest they call?
Well, if it's, I would talk to the counselors and then they can talk to the child, but then direct them to the website for sure.
Okay, so I, as a friend of a family that I have identified with need, I call the food bank and then ask for one of the counselors.
I thought the question was about a high school student?
Well, let me rephrase it.
Okay, sorry, I must have misunderstood.
If I suspect someone at my high school is experiencing food insecurity, this must be maybe from another student,
Yeah,
and they're like, what can they do to help this person they're suspecting? I don't think this person has a lot of food at home. What could they do? So you would tell them, go to your school counselor?
I would recommend going to the
Mhm.
counselor for sure.
Very good.
Because sometimes that's a very difficult conversation to have with somebody, and you don't know what's going on at home
Mhm.
either. Where the counselor might have some insight
Yeah.
if there's issues going on.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
And then, so youth of our church are often looking for weeknight service opportunities. Does the food bank have any service for youth who may only have 2 hours a week?
Yes, and I would recommend going to our website and to the volunteer page, and then that'll direct you to our volunteer resource team. Yeah, and they would have all the information for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lynn. Next, we have Carrie Davis from Just Serve. Welcome, Carrie.
Hi to everyone. First, I'd like to thank you all for coming, thank the people who arranged for this panel. I feel privileged to be with you, and I can tell you that after COVID, it's sweet for me to gather with other people. I really like it, so this is a wonderful opportunity that I feel privileged to be part of. And I also feel privileged to volunteer for this website. JustServe.org is the website, and there's an app called Just Serve, and it's offered to communities by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's free because we believe that volunteering makes stronger individuals and it makes stronger communities, and we support all other websites that support volunteerism. The pilot for Just Serve was started in San Jose, California in 2012, and now Just Serve is in 9 countries across the world and growing. We don't discriminate based on ethnicity, race, gender, sexual orientation, or religion. All those organizations can post on Just Serve right now, the bottom corner of every page. But their posts will be vetted to be sure that they follow our guidelines. And all of those organizations, once they understand the guidelines and agree to follow them, can be authorized to post themselves. So our guidelines are that the best projects enhance community life and help the vulnerable and the needy. They should not have a political or advocacy focus. They should not be for-profit, and they must not involve our volunteers in handling money. Now, we might have a charitable organization that's putting on a marathon to make money for their charity. And so what they can post for is the volunteers to hand out water bottles, distribute things to various people, direct traffic, so they can still help in that way. Now, we post for volunteers and for in-kind donations normally, but we can also make something called a volunteer center. So we are in the process of this right now to make a Ukrainian refugee support center. And in that center, you'll be able to go to Just Serve, to one URL, and see every organization that is helping the Ukrainian refugees in Calgary under one URL. At this moment, we have 125 organizations posting, and 75 projects from those organizations, because some projects will be only for a day, for a week, or whatever, so they often recycle. And some of our projects do include the food bank and the Welcome Center, the Salvation Army and Street Sisters. Imagine what a better world this would be if everyone volunteered one time a year. The world is polarized, but service helps to unite us and to heal us. This website is free to all nonprofits and volunteers. All are welcome to use it, and we invite you to give it away, to share it with your friends, and to just serve.
Thank you, Carrie. I'm going to ask you, kind of like I did with the food bank, a two-part question. One from the organization and the other one from the individuals that may want to help. Because I've been in the app, I've used the app Just Serve, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's like a portal of different service opportunities. So if I'm an organization listening to this and I want to contact Just Serve and post opportunities within my organization, how do I do that?
Just go to the bottom right-hand corner of every page, and it will guide you through what to do. And that will come to me, and I will vet it to be sure you followed our guidelines. I will contact you, and I will post it on the site. And then I will ask you, would you like to be authorized to post other times? And once you're authorized, it doesn't have to go through me anymore. All the posts are checked occasionally to be sure that people continue to follow our guidelines.
Good. Now, I'm an individual and I want to help. Is it as simple as just going to the app and then going through the different service opportunities?
It is. And that's the wonderful thing about it. It's for groups, but it's also for individuals and families, so that you can look through there and find a volunteer opportunity that appeals to you and your family, or you as an individual.
Okay. You mentioned you have about 75 opportunities to serve?
There's 71 on there today.
Okay. So what are some of the most common service opportunities that you've seen throughout these years? Is it more for donating in kind, donations, more for food, more for help at a center? What have you seen?
Well, during COVID, it was mostly remote. And we do have 12 remote opportunities on there.
You still do?
We still do,
Okay.
and they will stay there. There are things like, I can't think of the name of that organization, but anyway, why can't I think of the name of that organization? But there are many organizations on there that are remote. There's something called Zooniverse, for example, and that is for citizen scientists. So one thing I did on there, I said, okay, how can I help? And they sent me a picture of dolphins and said, please count all the dolphins that you see in this picture. So you don't even have to leave home to do that. But there are many on there that are remote and that continue. And Lasagna Love is a fairly new one on there. It's right across North America now. And you will be hooked up with someone who needs food in your area, who lives close to you. Someone who's hurting in some way, you can take them a lasagna or a different kind of meal for free, just to do a kindness.
Have you seen opportunities to serve for senior citizens who?
Many opportunities.
Many opportunities.
Many actually senior centers who ask. Right now, even young children are wanted at the Bethany to play music for the seniors, to enhance their environment. So if you have a young child who's learning an instrument, they're welcome to go there and make some music.
Even if they're just learning it?
Even if they're just learning.
Okay. How about, have you seen opportunities for teenagers?
There are lots of opportunities. In fact, almost all those opportunities that are good for adults are also good for teenagers. In fact, let me just look that up because I made a little...
Actually, our audience here is mostly teenagers.
That's right, that's right. Okay, so here we have teens. In fact, some schools have service clubs in their school called Just Serve clubs. And a lot of you, for some of your courses, will need service. So if you go on Just Serve, you can find some service there. You have to be 16 to register on Just Serve. So you can help at the food bank, libraries need help. You can help at the marathons, which I mentioned. There's something coming up on June 5th called the Gutsy Walk. And that's for people with Crohn's and colitis. And they need a lot of volunteers. Community centers also always need volunteers. the Global Youth Service Day was, you probably heard about that because that was sent out on April 30th, that weekend. You were invited to make a service of your own or even to just take the 6 blocks around your house and clean up. So there, Botanical Gardens needs people to come and help in their gardens. So, and then more of the remotes, yeah, I've got them down here. There's a weather service that you can help record weather across North America and into the Bahamas. So there are lots of
them.
opportunities.
Thank you, Carrie. I like that you mentioned that you're building stronger communities, and that's actually kind of our tagline for this event, building stronger communities together. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, last but not least, we have Edgar Ayala from the Center for Newcomers. And Edgar.
Good evening. My name is Edgar Ayala. Thank you for the welcome at this congregation. Well, my role at Center for Newcomers is a volunteer coordinator, so I work in the vulnerable program with a lot of staff, and we try to help many people who arrive in Canada. So, but I would like to ask some of you here, especially the young audience, what do you think, which are the first needs someone who is new will need when they arrive? Maybe one in my left, you would like to respond? What do you think? Think that you are new in one city. What do you think you first need?
Bank.
Yeah. Somebody behind me said bank account.
Bank account, perfect. Money is important. So another thing, someone in my right, you for example.
Somewhere to live.
Sorry.
Somewhere to live.
Yeah, it's important. Another option, other needs important for surviving in the country.
A connection to somebody within the city.
Connection. So, yeah, we have bank account because money is important. Housing, where we need a roof where we live. Connection, because sometimes the people who arrive in this country, they don't have any connection. They don't have family, and they don't have friends. So this is the first time, and they don't know how is the city, how is the country. Maybe they don't speak the language like we talked before with other organizations. So the importance of our organization is try to help all these people who are new in this country, and they suffer some, I would say, vulnerable in their lives in their country, and they need to escape from their own country, sometimes because there's a war, because there are social conflicts, and maybe we have another kind of crisis in the war in the next years. But in 2016, we have our first connection with Syrian people. We try to help most of them. After last year, we started with a crisis in Afghanistan. So we have many families and individuals who are arriving in Calgary and all the country in Canada. And right now, like you know, and you listen to the news, we have more Ukrainians in the city. So, and all of them, they need services. They need something, a place where to live, bank account, a job, of course, and maybe learn the language very well before finding a job. But Center for Newcomers have one program called Settlement. In this program, we will try to help all people who we consider new and vulnerable, and they need to receive some kind of connection with the staff, and after we have a plan for them. But the first need is very important. Food, clothing, because the winter here is difficult, no? And of course, housing. And we will focus on housing. When some Ukrainian arrive before Afghan people, they arrive in the city, they don't have any place where they can live. So we have the opportunity to get connections with other organizations and individuals who wants to host them temporarily for a few time. Meanwhile, they can have the opportunity to find a job and rent a place. But not always we have the opportunity to do that because we don't. Calgary is a fantastic place for people who want to help, but not always are available. So always we need the opportunity to find other families who want to host temporarily these families. And after that, when they have the opportunity to rent a place, they will need some basic needs like a table, like chairs, like a bed. So it's important to know we have this kind of needs, and we try to help them, and the opportunity to connection again with other organizations is important. We have some volunteers who donate, who help us driving and to deliver even different kind of items, but always we need more people. And we will try to connect with our clients and of course with our staff, and we are happy to be here because I think the collaboration between the different organizations is important for helping others. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Edgar, so a couple of questions. You mentioned a few countries. So can you share some stats, like nowadays, how many families are you helping? Where are they from? Are they mostly, the mom and the children, complete families? Can you just share some stats with us?
Well, sometimes it's difficult to talk about, but we have around 90 families only in the last year from Afghanistan, and they came all together, mother, father, and maybe a lot of kids, babies, teenagers, looking for a new opportunity. Ukrainian, of course, they have even some families come with the pets. So, and I think we are very friendly with pets too here. But we have different kind of families, individuals, because not only we receive families, we have individuals who need to look for a better place to live.
Mm-hmm. And have you seen an increase of families arriving?
Yes, every year, and since October we started receiving Afghan families. They came every time. The government have the agreement with the United Nations, and we have a lot of people who are arriving in Canada. I think it's 40,000 for Afghan people, but we don't have less than 10 or 20% only. In the next month we will wait for more people. And the Ukrainian right now, they're starting to come in, and like we have in the other Vladimir church, we have a lot of Ukrainians who come and they need looking for services.
Very good. So you mentioned clothing, food, and housing. And so I'm going to ask you about the last one. How do they find housing? That is, I'm thinking families that are new to the country, that are not working, and they, of course, need a place to stay. So what are their options, and where do they go to?
Well, like I was telling you, Calgary is, I think, a wonderful city, and many people help. And so we found organizations and congregations, religious congregations, who wants to help others, and sometimes they connect with our organization and other organizations in the city too. Even they have Facebook or social media, and they are connected with each other, and they decide, okay, I would like to host a family. I have a basement, and they could stay there for a little time. Meanwhile, they can find a job. And after, of course, when they have a job, they could rent a place, of course, affordable place, and after they start in their own life. So the importance is our volunteers or people who wants to help, they want to decide only, and we will try to connect with possibilities to have these clients who need a temporary housing. But it's not frequently, it is not every day, but we have a list of people who are in our spreadsheet, and we have the names and the other information from the people who wants to do something like that.
Okay, so it's basically just connecting families with families.
Exactly.
At this point.
Yes.
Okay. Will the government start offering housing help? Like I understand there's a program, but it hasn't kicked in yet.
Yes, of course. Normally we work with the federal government and the Alberta government, and they have some low-income support, so they need to apply. This is the reason we work with the clients, because they don't know how to apply these kind of services, so they need someone who explain how to apply, and we will try to help in this, but after we need to wait until they have the result, if they're available or not, or ready for this low-income support or not. No.
Okay. And you mentioned also like donations are needed. You talked about driving, but what about like driving donations to the new place where they're staying?
Yeah,
is that what you meant?
Of course. And some people live temporarily in a place and the family give everything, food, bed. But when you move a new place in the basement or one small room, you don't have anything. You need some bed at least, some table, one chair. So some people, I told you, is willing to do that. But sometimes we need the connection with other organizations, with other individuals, with other social media, where we can find these possibilities and connect everything. Sometimes I will say we will try to work in our own organization, but we know in other part of the city they started with this activity, and for my personal opinion, I think we will to work together.
Yes. And I will encourage you to go to Just Serve and post the service opportunities, right, Carrie?
Yes.
Because I think it is an excellent platform for people to find out what they could do. And then for the youth that we have here, you have families that are arriving with, children and teenagers. What would you tell them? They're probably going to see them in school, joining classes. What would you tell them as they see these new families arriving from countries that they probably didn't choose to leave, and they're here now?
Well, I will advise the young people, when you see another person who is immigrant in their school or in your neighborhood, listen. Only listen, because people need to be listened to and what to express themselves, even if they don't speak very well English.
Thank you, Edgar. I want to know if we have any more questions from the audience. No? Very good. So just recently, our congregation organized a donation for the Center for Newcomers, and I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who participated. Many of you are listening online, and you're here too. So we want to thank you, because the donations were a lot. There were furniture, beds, bedding, towels, kitchen supplies, household goods, and we can't thank you more. We now have a new project coming up, and I'd like to take this time to announce it. This is most likely a Calgary-wide project, but our congregation that belongs to the Northwest Quadrant will have a collection date for June 11th. And if we can have the QR code, I understand it's being shown right now. You're going to see a QR code on your screen. When you scan it, it's going to take you to a sign-up sheet. And that website, you're going to see all the different needs that were being asked for. So our state is putting together 50 kits, and 50 might seem like a small number for a section of the city that can probably donate more, but we're going to shoot for 50, and we're looking for bedding and towels that are new, and for household and kitchen items that are used. They don't have to be used, they can be used. We're not looking for furniture, it's mostly kitchen supplies, pots, pans, and dishes. So make sure you scan the QR code and donate. Again, the collection is going to be June 11th, and there's going to be different points. For our area, it's going to be here at the Silver Springs building, but if you live somewhere else, near Royal Oak, there's going to be a collection there, another one near Bow Valley. But in this website, you'll see all the different details. So we hope that you come and donate and help us provide these families that are not just from one specific region, but like Edgar mentioned, from different regions of the world, and they all need our help. I think we've been blessed with abundance in this country, and if we can help, not just with resources and money and tangible items, we can also donate our time, we can donate, I don't want to use the word donate, but we can give our friendship to people that, like Edgar said, they just need to be listened. And some people want to just practice English. They just want to understand the culture or know what resources to access. And I know that we can be there. So if you can't donate money or items, you can donate your time. So if we don't have any more questions for the audience, I want to thank you all for being here, those of you that are here and online. And again, the invitation is open for all of you to help. Thank you, everyone.